And now for your Metuchen Bulldogs. At guard, junior, number 11, Max Cone. At forward, sophomore, number 25, Ben Santos. At center, senior, number 24, Kay Emsley. At forward, senior, number 4, Liam Benderly. And at guard, senior, number 5, Dominic Schiappa.
I know it just started, but everything on the schedule says it's a different time, so I'm so discombobulated, and we're winning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here, you can sit.
Everything's so off. I know we'd already started, and I was like, what? Henry's here too.
Okay.
But we both thought it was at 7 o'clock because every other game has been at 7.
There's no They have no freshman team.
That's what it was, yeah.
And if the
Okay.
girls are playing or not playing, then they have to practice first. So anytime the girls are playing, because they're playing at South Amboy tonight, the game's going to be at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Dang.
It's all right. Just call the second half. That's all.
Yeah, I'll call Henry. I'm gonna call Henry.
It's not much of a game though.
Yeah, I'm glad we're winning. I'm glad we're on the good hand.
Yeah. But yeah, it's better to be on that end. That's for sure.
Who's looking good so far?
Well, Dominic's got the typical. He's in double figures. I don't know how many. Liam's doing a good job.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Uh,
1 sec. Henry, can you come down? We're gonna do the second half. Okay, sounds good. All right. Yeah. All right, he's coming.
Okay.
Hey. We're getting on the second half. Yeah, you got me just a half. That stinks, but I'd rather have the second half than nothing. So. Yeah, I know. All right. All right. Love you. Yeah. All right. See ya. Bye.
Batteries. They're terrible. 8 nice and a
They're
half.
recording on.
Hmm?
Yeah. Back for the second half of play. Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Bush. Henry Sia will be joining us just in a few moments, but we're going to be talking a little bit about how this game is going so far. 28-8 is the score. The Bulldogs leading at halftime for the first time this year, which is a very impressive mark for the Bulldogs. Now, I know I wasn't here for the first half of play. A little bit of a debacle in terms of scheduling. We were kind of a little bit of a miscommunication between the head announcers here, but now we're back here for the second half. We'll be calling the game for the remainder of its time. 28-8, as I just mentioned, is the score. The Bulldogs in the lead securely so far, and it's looking like it's going to be a second Metuchen win on the year, but nothing's official yet. Metuchen up 20, though, and really, again, of course, key player Dom Siapa, who's just been obviously the highlight of the season, highlight of the team in all ways. And so the Bulldogs looking to add to that lead. Maybe we'll start to see some backups, maybe some bench players to start to come in. We'll see what happens for the second half, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Metuchen Bulldogs react in the second half. Henry Sia will be joining us in just a few. But let's talk stats. The Bard, Bard is on the road, and they have played just one game. That team, the high school in Newark, they're playing their second game of the year, and their only other game so far this year was against American History High School, which they won 55-46. If we look into scoring in that game, the lead point scorer in that game was Daniel Ayasodin, the senior, so he is obviously their biggest scorer. Also, not just their biggest scorer, 15 rebounds for Ayasodin. So also such a nice resume for him. Also, to add to his total, 9 blocks in just one game, may I mention again. So Daniel Ayasodin is the key player for this team. It's going to be a fun second half of action from the Metuchen High School. We'll be back for the second half of play. Metuchen out there, getting their starters out there. That's Liam Benderly, Ben Santis, Max Cohn, Kay Emsley, and Dom Chiappa, just as usual, their starters. And we're underway. Max Cohn with the basketball. Here come the Bulldogs. 7:52 to go. Just 8 seconds in, and already a steal as Cohn tried to fit it in to Liam Benderly. Not too wise of a decision there, and now it's going the other way. Here comes Bard. That ball gets deflected out of bounds, and it's going to be going the other way. Metuchen back with the ball. Some scrappy defense by both teams to start off. Henry Sia joining us now. 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. We're 30 seconds in. Already 2 turnovers total so far. Santis puts it up, and he's got it. The jumper lays it in. 30-8. Metuchen on top.
Hello, this is Henry Sia.
And the ball goes out of bounds.
Am I on? Hello, this is Henry Sia joining you guys. Like Ike said, a bit of miscommunication.
So, a bit of a miscommunication. Yeah, now we got Henry Sia back in the booth. Here's Max Cohn with the basketball. Bulldogs now on the attacking end. Santis puts up a 3, and it's not quite good. He has 1 3 for his year so far, Ben Santis. And 19 total points for the sophomore. Setting up the Bard offense. And total so far this year, Bard has got just 55 points, but obviously just playing one game and winning that. But 55 points and lack of practice. I mean, they've only played a game, and it was on December 17th. So, I mean, they haven't played in almost a month, and it's been tough for Bard to kind of get back in their rhythm. They're losing now by 24 points as Chiappa, as you saw, lays it in. A fast break for the Bulldogs. Ben Santis is up, and he misses it, but the reassuring basket in for Dom Chiappa, who lays it in. Henry, you're just joining us. What have you observed from the moments that you've been watching so far in this game?
Well, honestly, what I've been observing is that it's just been a blowout. See, Metuchen forcing turnover after turnover. And there's another point right there. like Metuchen just has domination over this Bard team. And like seriously, almost every time they try to make a play, it's been turned over, and Metuchen's been able to get points from it. So very impressive by Metuchen, being able to like destroy a team like this and notch their second win on the year.
Absolutely, and they're playing against a team, as I keep mentioning, but one game of experience on the season is so tough. We saw the Metuchen Bulldogs struggle after just one game. They started to get a little bit better as they go. The Metuchen, their chemistry starts to grow, and everything starts to get a little bit better through experience, through being able to play with each other. That helps out a lot in terms of chemistry, in terms of, strategy, pace, and everything important on that basketball team. So without experience on a year with this particular squad, it's going to be hard for Metuchen to pursue for the Raptors to pursue in a win. And they were able to get it, but now after playing almost a month later, they've only put up 8 points on the board so far. So Metuchen back on the offensive end. Ben Santis finds Max Cohn, and we've got the offense back out there for 5.5 minutes left to go.
Now, I see exactly what you mean by how the Bard team hasn't been able to get enough practice, because, I see them, and they look really discombobulated. You saw a couple seconds ago when one of the players had the ball in his hands, could have been a layup, but instead, it went out of bounds.
It's going the other way. Ball goes into another player's hands, and now it's going the other way. Bard on the offensive end. Can they get their double digits? Can they get double-digit points on the night? Not quite, at least. Here it goes up, and just missing the layup attempt. So now it's going to be 2 shots at the line for Bard. Can they crack that 10? Double digits has been a stretch for them so far, but if they're able to get it in the second half, maybe it won't come out to be such a failure of a night. But remember, as I said, Metuchen has just gotten better all throughout the year, and it's come with chemistry, right? And we've seen that throughout the game and the year. You see how well they're starting to learn each other. But it certainly can't be all built around Domskiapa. I was talking with Eddie during Monday night's game, and he was saying we need to find more ways. Metuchen needs to find more ways to score the basketball rather than just putting it in to Domskiapa, right, Henry?
Yeah, and it also looks like that Ben Santos is having himself a night today, being the lead scorer today with, I believe, 15 points, he said. And that is just another way to spread the ball around. Today it hasn't really been the Dom Chiappa show from what I've seen. It's been Ben Santos and company's show. Very good team effort overall, and very good chemistry. This Metuchen team can probably turn it around. They're in a tough division, but their chemistry has been evolving so much throughout the season, and I think they could really get a winning record.
I'm sorry, no, earlier I mentioned Ben Santis. He actually has, on the entire year, I was saying, Ben Santis with 19. He's actually a pretty solid scorer, but also, just a reliable defender, too. Max Cohn wide open for the three-pointer, just a little shy. Chiappa puts it up, and he hits it from 3 range. Metuchen adds their lead 39-12 is the score with 3:40 to go in the third quarter. Raptors basketball coming across half. $27-point game. Raptors basketball crashing in. And Bard has just been sloppy, right? So far, they've been sloppy, and I don't even think that it's been, necessarily, I don't think it has to necessarily do with the talent so much as it has to do with, just sloppiness and errors so far today.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure at least, John Madden says, it's not always the best team that wins. And so far, Metuchen is looking like the better team. But also, teams can make a lot of errors, which can lead to their downfall in a game. So I've been seeing a lot of mistakes from Bard. And while Metuchen is looking like a lot of a better team than Bard, I still think that the mistakes that have been caused by Bard today have really factored in why they're losing by so much.
Absolutely. Crashing in, missing an easy layup, and now putting it back up. No good, a tip in. And with that height, you're able to put in the points. 2 more for Bard. They're up at 14 on the night. Max Cone with the basketball. And I really like how Max Cone plays. I'm going to talk a little bit about Max now. And Max Cone is just, as you see, that gets swatted away. Max Cone I'm going to talk a little bit about because he's not only just a good shooter, but he's a leader on this team. He's the point guard. He's just a junior, so next year you'll see him as a senior playing to his best ability. And they were missing a lot when they were missing Max Cone for a few games. So now that he's back in action, Metuchen's able to run their offense in full sync again and kind of just be able to incorporate their best offense the best they can. And Max is, as you see, he's the point guard, so you need a leader as your point guard. So Max, definitely a reliable target for your point guard position. So you see Dom Chiappa. Also, Dom Chiappa, of course, barely even need to mention how much of a leader he is. And even if he didn't have the personality, which he does, if you didn't have the personality and you're still putting up those points, at some point, people are looking up to you, right? So Dom Chiappa just got into Marywood University. How impressive has it been, what he's done this year so far for Metuchen?
Honestly, it's been very fun watching him. He has already gone into triple-digit points in 5 games and 6 games now, but Dom Chiappa has been impressive with shooting and layups and even sometimes dunking. Like, he is the leader on this team. He is, like you said, people have got to look up to him because of his personality and his ability. So, very impressive player. And, he's just good at all facets of basketball. There's no weakness with him.
So, it's going to go behind the net, which will give a Bard offensive drive now. And they're coming in Bard so far with actually an impressive 12 blocks so far. Only 1 game to do so, and today they're totally adding to that total, which is really nice. Throughout the year in their last game, they were able to put up 12 blocks, which is really impressive. But tonight they're able to do a little bit more. They've got some height with some of their players, so blocking hasn't been the problem. I think the main problem has been points and generating points. How about you, Henry?
I agree, because, they do have the people with height, but, what almost just happened there, they have turned the ball over a lot. So, when there are opportunities to score, they just give the ball to the other team. And I think that's why, even with their height, they haven't been able to score as much, because this offense has just been shut down by the amount of turnovers they've caused.
Yeah, they're looking a little sloppy, but always room to improve on the year. They're looking ahead. If you're looking at their schedule, they do play Metuchen again on the road. So Metuchen home game on February 8th. So make sure to tune into that one. They're going to be playing a rematch against Metuchen. Surely they'll try to improve their turnout so far. Metuchen looking to crack for the first time this year, past 56 points, which has been their record so far this year offensively. Already at 43, sitting with almost the end of the third quarter. Sahil Gudrathi with the basketball. Marcus Malamug from the corner, off the bench. He misses the 3, and here comes Bard again. And that shot is put up, and see, again, rebounds have also been a big thing. 37 rebounds in that last game. 37. That is incredible. 14 from Daniel Iosodin, and then 12 from Maurice Kelly. They were just pounding the back of the glass and just being able to get almost every single rebound out there. And tonight it's also been pretty fine so far in the rebound game. Max Cone chucks up a last second of the third quarter 3-point chance, and it's just off the mark. So 43-14 after 3. What are your thoughts? What are you saying right now? You're James Cardillo. What are you telling your team? What do you say for this last quarter of action?
I would honestly be just congratulating them. I don't see how they could blow a 29-point lead. Or, actually, 29-point lead. I don't see how they could possibly blow that in one quarter. So I'd just be congratulating them on the work they've done. And just, how well they've been playing. And maybe even encourage them to, try and best their total this season of most points scored. I believe it was 53.
56, yes.
56. So they only need 13 more points to do that. So if they can put that up in a quarter, that would be a huge accomplishment to this Metuchen offense. But really, the main focal point of this game, as far as I can tell, is defense, because they have been forcing turnovers left and right and just shutting down opportunities to let the Raptors score. So just great job defensively and great job offensively for being able to put up the amount of points they did and allow the amount of points they did.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I mean, we're about to get back in action, but I will say this: I think that if you're James Cardillo, as you said, I say put up a lot of points, but I also would make sure to play some other people, right? Because it won't necessarily intentionally run up the score, but you still want to see what you have on your team. You still want to test out certain guys. Maybe, try out Rocco Sirio, the senior. Maybe try out Danny Kuhn, the sophomore. Cody Cardillo, the sophomore. You've got Jordan Armada. So a lot of guys on the bench that haven't really seen the court too much, or if not at all this year, but maybe you can give them a chance, see what they could do into the late goings of the season. And James Cardillo directing his team, it seems like they're just trying to force as many points as they can on this team. The jumper is good, and it's 43-16 now as they lay in the two. Marcus Malamug fakes the shot. And Cody Cardillo from the corner, and that one's just off the mark. Marcus Malamug. And I will say this. Last game, which was Monday, Eddie Kalegi was joined with me, but he actually said that Metuchen has a lot of similar players on their team, right? You've got that pretty tall guy that could do things defensively, but also could shoot pretty well, but not too much a long-range kind of guy, right? You have guys like Sahil Gudrathi, you have Marcus Malamug, Cody Cardillo, you have Alec Lataye, and, Liam Benderly, a lot of guys that could just do their job defensively, which I think has been the main focus for Metuchen. Defensive game, but also is able to put up some points once in a while, and I like that about Metuchen. But the only problem with that formula that they have is they start to rely too heavily on guys like, Dom Schiappa to put up too many points in a game, and that pretty much their whole offensive scheme starts to revolve around Dom Schiappa.
yeah, I was saying that about 2 games ago on, I believe it was Saturday night, that Dom Schiappa was the main focal point of that offense, and he was pretty much the only person scoring points in that first quarter, and he was the only reason why they kept being in the game. But then later in the game, more of the other players started to show up, and Metuchen actually almost pulled off a victory that night, 49-48, 1 point away. But after they started giving it less to Dom Schiappa, as great of a player as he is, he can't carry the entire offense. But once they started utilizing some of their other players, the offense was running smoothly. So Dominic Schiappa can definitely put up a lot of points, but you also got to utilize some of your other players too, if you want to remain consistent on offense.
Right now, I was just about to say James Cardillo needs to call timeout, and he does. Yeah, they just let up a solid 7 points in a row. They look a little sloppy right now, we'll say that. Out of the fourth quarter gate, Metuchen hasn't been playing too well, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, at least in this fourth quarter, they've been looking a lot more sloppy because, like you said, they allowed 7 straight points. And not that that'll make a difference in the end of the day, but I wouldn't put in backups anymore, because if this gets out of control and the Raptors do somehow make a comeback, then that would lower the confidence of the entire team, because instead of having a blowout win, you have a blown lead. So keep in your starters and make them play mostly defense. Still try to score points, but focus them on defense. Try to keep the ball as long as possible to run out the time. And yeah.
So it's heading to Max Cone, it's going to go the other way. So now it's going Raptors' way. Shot, it's up and just a little short. Now, as you're seeing, the offense has been primarily, it's been tough for the Bulldogs in this fourth quarter, but as you said, probably doesn't have too much a result in the end. Back in action now. They're playing into Max Cone. 5:22 to go. Shot. And this one's just shy as it's going back for Chiappa. He's in double guarded right now. And it's going to be underneath. Marcus Malamug outside to Liam Benderly. Short, and it hits off of a defender's hands, heads up to the hoop. Now look at this formula, right? You've got a lot of guys crowded inside, and then 3 men in the back of the court. Liam Benderly and Max Cohn all in the back. And then also, you've got some Bard guys playing up there because in case the ball ends up getting loose, they're able to generate offense from that play. But nothing ends up happening as it goes out of bounds. And now you see them dishing it. And here it comes. Bard on the offensive chance. And he looked to be fouled on the shot attempt on the layup. 43-21 with 4:42 to go. If you're just joining us, Metuchen in the lead.
And this has just been an all-out slaughter for Metuchen because the score was the 29-point deficit in the beginning of the fourth quarter. But just recently, Metuchen has been allowing a lot more points. And Bard has cut that deficit from 29 to 21. Not that it'll make much of a difference at the end with only 4:40 left on the clock. But still, this is very similar to what happened last game, or 2 games ago, when in the fourth quarter their offense just stopped generating points because they have not gotten a single point since the fourth quarter started. And they actually ended up blowing a lead last time this happened 2 games ago. So this will most likely be different because they have such a big lead, but it's still important to note how Metuchen's offense just seems to stop functioning after the fourth quarter starts.
And right now, it looks like their defense is kind of breaking down too. 43-24 now. And with that shot, they just missed, but they get the rebound back. Just a productive day getting the ball off the glass for Bard. Another rebound. Rebounding really could help you out, right, in the game because it gives you a whole other offensive drive. And there you go. See, that rebound costed them 2 points, Metuchen. And now, look at this, 12 straight points for Bard. So,
wow.
I'm not sure if you jinxed it at the end of the third quarter, but Metuchen is not playing too well right now. 43-26, and now they're just probably going to get out there and just try to hope to secure this game. It's still quite far. It's still a 17-point game. It's not too easy to come back at this point, but it still could get out of hand. And of course, in the fourth quarter, you want to reassure your team that you're able to generate the points you need and play good enough defense to stop Bard.
Yeah, because I see this Metuchen not just on offense but on defense. Like I said before, after the fourth quarter starts, Metuchen just seems to shut down on both facets of the ball. And never mind. I was going to say that would be the first point of this quarter, but he missed the free throw. So very dangerous by Metuchen to just let Bard look like how they should have looked like the entire game. This is Bard playing at their best. So, very dangerous for Metuchen to be allowing this many points and not putting up any points.
I like that. This is Bard at their best because, yeah, it is. It looks like they're starting to, as I said, build that chemistry. Because chemistry is a big problem. I've been saying that the lack of chemistry, the lack of playing together, of course, because every single year in the high school is, a refresh, really, of players. Seniors leave, new freshmen come in. It's really a whole new experience. If you're playing in, the NBA, it could be the exact same squad that have been playing together for years. But these are brand new guys sometimes. You've got some seniors that left. New replacements need to find a way to play with each other. It's not always an easy thing to do. Only playing one game really affects everything. And with a brand new coach, it's always hard to kind of get everyone used to each other and kind of be able to win some games. But they were able to get the win right off the bat. And now they're pretty much getting blown out. But I think it is a good learning experience for Bard. They've got a few games coming up soon. On Friday, they play against Newark Lab. on the 18th against Ferris, the 25th against Sussex Tech, and as I mentioned earlier, on the February 8th, their first game in February, they play Metuchen. And then to close out the year, they have Roselle Park, and again, American history. But they are playing Roselle Park, the team that Metuchen lost to by 1 on Friday night. Hits the 3, and now it's a 48-29 point game.
One thing I do want to point out really quick is I've been noticing Dom Schiappa ever since that layup a couple minutes ago, holding his left hand every now and then. Just did it now. And might be worrisome. He seems to be playing the same, but he just keeps holding his left hand, which worries me. So hopefully nothing going on there. But it's good to see that Metuchen has rebounded from their slow start to put up 5 points in the past minute and a half.
And definitely, if there's an injury problem, then it should be addressed immediately. In this type of game, you don't really want to have your big guys, especially, get injured and have to be pulled out. So make sure this game is kind of just a learning experience for both sides. 48-29, excuse me, and Metuchen trying to crack that 50 mark with just under 2 minutes to go. Dom Schiappa with the basketball. Metuchen basketball from on the offensive end. Stolen away, and there's no doubt about this one. This is pretty much a train wreck of a fourth quarter for Metuchen. They're getting outscored in the fourth quarter by a lot. The first 3 quarters, they looked to be playing some of their best basketball of the year, but they've kind of collapsed here in the fourth.
Yeah, because honestly, not that it'll mean much at the end. They seem to be putting up more points now, but I feel like the only thing that they're losing here is confidence, because before you could say that you, destroyed another team by 30 points, but now you could say that you started allowing more points. They still have a pretty big lead. They just eclipsed 50 points. So still a very impressive game by Metuchen, but they just gotta wish that they scored more points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they're kind of getting near that, doubling mark. As they might have listened to me, you're seeing Jordan Armada out there. You've got Rocco Sirio out there as well. Ben Santis out there as well. And Dom Schiappa out there, of course. So, Raptors basketball. Benderly checked in as well. Armada in. You're seeing Nicky Van Leeuwen towards the middle, getting ready to check in with a minute 15 to go. That shot is way far from the basket, short, and it's going to be still Raptors basketball. One thing that's really impressed me, one of the few things that's really impressed me from this Raptors offense and defense is their play overall has been their rebounding, more so than anything, especially because even in last game they got 37 rebounds, which is really, really above average. But at this point, they're shooting for, they're kind of getting towards that number right now, heading towards the 20s. So, in terms of rebounding, that's really impressing me. And they're showing that their last game in terms of rebounding, which is a very underrated skill in the game of basketball, last game was not a fluke according to this one.
Yeah, because, the thing is about this game and their rebounds is they haven't really they've been getting a lot of rebounds, but they haven't really been able to capitalize on it because Metuchen has been getting a lot of turnovers on defense. So while Bard might be getting the ball back a lot, they still haven't been able to do much with it. Also looks like they're taking out their backup players for their starting lineup. As you mentioned before, they did take out a couple of their players.
Some of them, you got Cody Cardillo coming in, but he's not really a starter. And then you got Benderly coming out. But some of the younger players I'm starting to see out there, it's juniors and sophomores right now, and one senior. So younger crowd out there for Metuchen. You're two seniors. You're starting to see what it will probably be like in the future for this Metuchen basketball program. With just 40 seconds to go, Metuchen is going to get their second win of the year. A very impressive game overall from the Bulldogs. Really liked what I saw. The end was not super great, but when you're up this big, I guess you could afford to give up the end like that. But you want to make sure you play through the rest of the fourth quarter. And on Monday, we saw a great display of that. They started to kind of hint towards coming back in that game. But no worries for the Bulldogs. A big win, and they will improve. That will be their second win. Metuchen right now 1-4, second to last in the blue division. But with this win, they're 2-4, which is a big win for them and a big step in the right direction for Metuchen. Join us on Friday. Metuchen has got a big game coming up on Friday. So make sure to tune in on the Bulldog Report. This is Henry Sia. Henry, what do you think went right? What went wrong through this game for Metuchen?
Honestly, the only thing that I could think of that went wrong for them is in the fourth quarter when, they started letting up more points than they score. And it's just really sometimes worrisome that they could, that they don't produce as well in the fourth quarter. But other than that, they've played amazing defense, amazing offense, been able to generate turnovers left and right, been able to score a lot, and they put up the second most points that they've ever scored this season. So very good job by Metuchen. And besides fourth quarter, I can't really think of anything bad that Metuchen's done. Just great job on both sides.
I really liked what I saw as well. Metuchen played a great game. Now they've also got a game on Friday, so tomorrow they get to take the day off. They get to kind of rest for their game on Friday, which is a big one against Spotswood. Now the game against Spotswood will be held on Friday at 6 p.m. Spotswood right now 5-2. 3-1 the conference in the blue division, second place, just behind South River, who happens to be undefeated. So Metuchen's got a tough game ahead of them. The last time they played Spotswood, they were handed an L on the road in their first game, 58-48. So make sure to tune in on the Bulldog Report to see what happens in that Metuchen-Spotswood game. So that's it from the Bulldog Report. I'm Mike Bush. This was Henry Sia right next to me, and we're logging off from Wednesday basketball from the high school.
Thanks.
That was such a weird